Welcome to the top 10 biggest and baddest cryptids. These terrifying creatures live at the edge between fact and fiction. Here lies the stuff of nightmares. Number 10, Bunyip. This scary water monster originated in Australian Aboriginal mythology. Legend has it, the Bunyip lives in wet, marshy areas. If you're traveling near a swamp, stream, muddy riverbed, or watering hole down under, watch out! The Bunyip could get you. The name Bunyip comes from the Wemba Wemba language, a native Australian group from the area, which has now become modern-day Victoria in southeastern Australia. It means devil or evil spirit. It's been described as everything from a cross between a seal and a vicious dog, to a long-necked water giraffe with flippers, as if the wildlife in Australia weren't scary enough already. The Bunyip is said to roar loudly and prey on everything from fish to unsuspecting humans who venture too close to its home. Researchers propose that this loud barking call might mean that the Bunyip is simply a mythologized version of a southern elephant seal or a leopard seal, which could have swam up waterways and terrorized Aboriginal groups. It's also been suggested that the legend of the Bunyip stemmed from ancient tribal tales passed down through the generations of now extinct marsupials, such as the Diprotodon, a prehistoric creature that resembled a rhinoceros. Number 9, Mothman. The Mothman comes to us from West Virginia folklore, and boy is it a doozy. According to the tale, Mothman is a creature first reported near Point Pleasant, West Virginia, between November 1966 and December 1967. Author John Keel popularized the legend of the Mothman with a book, The Mothman Prophecies, which linked sightings of the beast to supernatural phenomena and even disasters. The book was even turned into a movie in 2002. The first sighting of the creature came from a group of men who were digging a grave near Clendenin, West Virginia. They claimed to have seen a flying man swoop down over their heads out of the nearby woods. Then, on November 15th, 4 friends from Point Pleasant reported a similar figure to the police. They saw a large gray creature whose eyes glowed red when the car's headlights shone at it. Further sightings called it a large bird or flying creature with red or reflective eyes, and some folks blamed its presence for missing animals or weird, unexplained happenings. Some even identified it as an alien species. Of course, we have a skeptical explanation from a scientist, this one from wildlife biologist Dr. Robert L. Smith. He said it was nothing more than a large sandhill crane, whose height and massive wingspan could have confused the public. Number 8, Minhocao. The minhocao is a giant fish or aquatic worm from Brazil. The tales about this mythical cryptid put it at anywhere from 60 to 150 feet. That's 20 to 50 meters. Back in the late 1800s, when European explorers were still conducting expeditions into the Amazon rainforest, stories cropped up about this massive worm that dragged horses and cattle underwater and ate them. Other descriptions gave this beast a bony exoskeleton that protected it from rocks and tree roots, and blamed its movements for destroying roads and creating massive trenches in the ground after rainstorms. The best scientific explanations put the minhocao as a particularly large species of lungfish, whose exploits are best explained by superstition surrounding seismic activity or mudslides in the area. In 1906, a London newspaper promoted the idea of sending out an expedition to figure out once and for all what the minhocao was, but no such expedition ever took place. Number 7, the Jersey Devil. There is a lot of folklore surrounding this New Jersey monster. Legend has it, this mysterious cross between a goat, a bat, and a kangaroo originated in 1735, with the 13th pregnancy of a possibly apocryphal woman named Jane Leeds. After her first 12 children, Jane Leeds was not interested in anymore, but when she became pregnant again, she lashed out and cursed the child, crying that this baby would be the devil. Born normal, the infant shifted into a disturbing beast, with hooves, a goat's head, bat wings, and a forked tail. Shrieking, it lashed out with its tail before flying directly into the pine barrens.
And my parents told me I was a difficult baby.
The origins of this creature are mixed up with a number of men and women who lived in colonial New Jersey, including a real historical figure named Daniel Leeds, a rival of Benjamin Franklin's at the time. He was notoriously involved with the occult and black magic, and many of the descriptions of the legendary creature are related to the Leeds family and their strange ways. Over the last 300 years, tales of the creature have popped up alongside livestock disappearances, mysterious sightings, and just as general ghost stories. Even dirty, bedraggled hikers and hunters have been mistaken for the Jersey Devil. And of course, there have been a number of hoaxes where fraudsters dressed up a dead kangaroo with claws and wings to pass it off as a valuable Jersey Devil. Number 6. The Beast of Exmoor. This mysterious cat-like beast was reported in southwest England in the 1970s. The most famous incident was in 1983, when a farmer reported the loss of over 100 sheep, all due to violent slashes to the neck. Any photographic evidence is blurry, with the animal looking something like a cougar, panther, or puma. All official reports declare England to be free of large wild cat species and call the reports of the Beast of Exmoor exaggerations of normal cats or dogs. But the government did send in some snipers to hunt the animal back in the 80s to no avail. It could be that a small pack of these deadly animals is still living on the fringes of civilization, even today. Number 5. Chupacabra. Now we're really getting into some famous cryptids. The Chupacabra, or goat sucker, is a legendary predator who has been reported all across the Americas, from Chile to Maine. The story originated in 1995 in Puerto Rico, when over 100 farm animals were found dead with various puncture wounds, completely drained of blood.
It was actually a Puerto Rican comedian, Silverio Perez, who came up with the name Chupacabra. I mean, goat sucker? Really?
Most descriptions of Chupacabra sightings call it a lizard-like creature with green scales and spikes all down its spine. Standing 3 to 4 feet tall, it hops around sort of like a rabid kangaroo. Some descriptions put it closer to a wild, hairless dog with big fangs and sharp claws. This too is described with a protruding spine and big eyes. Universally, the Chupacabra preys on its victims by draining their blood and viscera through a couple of holes in the animal's torso. So it's a dog, lizard, kangaroo vampire? And yes, the scientific explanations for this carnivore call the Chupacabra an exaggerated description of a rabid or mangy wild dog, coyote, or wolf. The mange makes their hair fall out and makes their skin scaly, which explains these canines' disturbing appearance. But maybe, just maybe, there's some mutation in the wild out there that spawned these alarming monsters. Number 4. Bigfoot. Here he is, the missing link. Half man, half ape, all scary. Bigfoot, or Sasquatch, is the mysterious hominid creature seen dozens of times over the years, nearly universally in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, or in other rural wooded regions like the Southeast, Rocky Mountains, or Great Lakes area. Originally, the legends began with Indian tales of large, superhuman apes wandering the woods as early as the 1800s. Now the story has grown, and enthusiast groups far and wide have spent tens of thousands of hours searching for evidence of the creature. There have been over 1,000 reported sightings of the beast, but no tested and confirmed specimen has ever been recovered. Unfortunately, today there is a cottage industry of hoaxers and frauds trying to take advantage of believers with dummies crafted to look like dead Sasquatches. But the scientific explanation leaves something to be desired. These sightings can't all be black or brown bears with mange, can they? One theory proposes that Bigfoot is a lost subspecies of the long-extinct Gigantopithecus, a larger prehistoric cousin of humans. Another believes that they are a tiny rump population of Neanderthals. A group of Bigfoot hunters has even successfully registered the scientific name, Homo sapiens cognatus. If they find enough real evidence to run some genetic tests and prove the existence of a distinct species, maybe we really will have a new sibling on our family tree.
Homo sapiens cognatus literally means kindred wise man or related wise man.
Number 3, the Yeti. Bigfoot's Asian cousin, the abominable snowman or the Yeti, is a similar legendary hominid that lives in the Himalayas. There is a whole family of reported ape men across the continent, all with different names and all with remarkably similar characteristics. Just like Sasquatch, the Yeti is bigger than a person, with a shaggy, hairy coat, sharp teeth, and a frosty demeanor, make the descriptor abominable particularly apt.
I wonder who would win if these two creatures had a fistfight.
First reported in folklore of the local residents of Nepal, northern India, Siberia, and Tibet, early European explorers eagerly latched on to evidence to confirm the existence of the beast. Any strange animals or unexplained footprints added to the pile of clues about the Yeti's size, demeanor, and habitat. The best evidence came in 1951, when Eric Shipton took numerous photographs of what appeared to be large footprints of a humanoid creature. Skeptics argued that they were merely normal animal footprints that were stretched by the melting snow. Various reports trickled in over the years, but without a captured specimen, they've all been chalked up to various species of bears. But hey, since the recent discoveries of different genuses of humanoid creatures that lived as recently as 100,000 years ago, it's entirely possible that both the Yeti and the Sasquatch are based on ancient passed-down stories of long-extinct human cousins. Perhaps deep in prehistory, there really were hairy, mountain-dwelling ape men living alongside our own ancestors. Number 2, the Loch Ness Monster, Nessie. She's the famous dinosaur-like sea monster that supposedly lives in Loch Ness, a lake in Scotland. The first time the name Loch Ness Monster was applied was in 1933 and was described as a dragon or a sea serpent. But there was a description of some type of predator that killed a man in the River Ness as early as the 6th century, so Nessie's got quite a history behind her. There is a treasure trove of photographs of the beast, many of which are proven hoaxes, but the description is fairly standard and universal. Nessie is sort of like a plesiosaur, a large reptile with flippers and a long neck, anywhere from 5 to 15 meters long. That's a 50-foot creature. It could also be a giant eel, though Nessie would theoretically be a lot bigger than the eels that have been caught in Loch Ness.
And for good reason. Could you imagine finding a dinosaur at the end of your fishing pole?
For the most part, contemporary sightings have been mysterious ripples, or shadows, or dark blotches in the water of the lake, and all have been conveniently explained by science. This one is a pile of zooplankton and algae. That one is just a tree trunk. That's a Greenland shark. The noise is just seismic gas. The human brain wants to find evidence for what it believes, and that's that. Could it be that Nessie is just a patchwork of legends surrounding perfectly normal animals living in the lake? Or is that just too convenient an explanation? And now, for the number 1 cryptid. But first, if you're loving this list, be sure to jam that subscribe button and turn on notifications immediately. And drop a comment about which of these cryptids you think is most likely to be a real animal, and which one is definitely a hoax. Number 1, the Kraken. The biggest, baddest, scariest monster that haunted the nightmares of seafaring men for millennia. This Scandinavian super squid could drag entire sailboats with their thrashing crews down to the briny depths if it wanted to. All accounts of the Kraken point to it being a romanticized, juiced-up version of the giant squid, which already grows up to 50 feet, or 16 meters in length. Sailors love a tall tale to exaggerate their bravery over a bottle of rum, and stories of coming face to face with the biggest sea creature of them all are hard to top. As far back as 1250, there were long-winded accounts of these massive monsters, comparing it to the Leviathan of biblical origin, or the giant fish that swallowed Jonah in his fateful Bible tale. For as long as humans were sailing, there have been stories of mysterious creatures, the capricious rulers of the high seas. From Scylla and Charybdis in Homer's The Odyssey, to the white whale, Moby Dick, we've been captivated by the idea of giant, supernatural beasts that give the sea an extra hint of awe and danger. And the beautiful thing is, because the sea is so big and most of it is uncharted, there's still a chance that some undiscovered species of super squid is out there, lying at the bottom of a deep ocean trench, and you'd better pray it doesn't come up for a bit of revenge on the humans who pollute its home.
Cryptid hype! See you next time.